Hello, I'm Dan, the account manager for Instantor, and today I'm with...
I'm Andy Burton, Head of Marketing at Instantor.
We're just going to do a brief run through really to talk through Andy's experience of the event, talk about what went well, and yeah, just talk about the experience in general. How did last year's event go since partnering with Nimlok for the first time?
But we learned a lot. Last year's stand was fantastically successful. So luckily we could build on that and take the learnings and the positives into this year.
What would you say stood out and made you feel like Nimlok is the right partner for 2026 as well?
It was a number of things really. As I said, we'd used the previous stand builder for a number of years. They were very much, do a lot of the build on site at the build up. So, you know, cutting wood, painting, rubbing transfers and graphics down. We just wanted a different approach and a more up-to-date approach really. And as a business, we're very committed to sustainability and the environment. And the old model was very much you throw everything away at the end of an event and build everything from scratch again. So one of the big attractions for us when we started talking to you the year before was the fact that you've got this modular approach where you can reuse elements. And then you can still combine that with bespoke elements as well to get a really tailored sort of effect. The big thing for us, it was just the account management and the planning and things like you do the pre-build 2 weeks before, you know, the show at the factory here. So previously the first time you see a stand more or less is on the build-up. By doing that pre-build 2 weeks before, and the way you project manage things with a fine tooth comb really, just minimises the potential for anything to go wrong. And from an exhibitor's point of view, you're doing this all the time, but we probably do 1 or 2 big shows a year.
Yeah.
It's very stressful because you start to think, is this going to go right? You know, but that approach, the rock solid account management and the pre-build and techniques like that just remove any, it's just very reassuring from an exhibitor's point of view.
This year's objectives were very different to the year before. One of them was celebrating 100 years of Instantor. How did they tie into the brief?
Instantor's 100-year anniversary, which is obviously a major event for us to celebrate. And we'd got a couple of product launches. There was one underfloor heating, which is a completely brand new category. So from a branding point of view, when you're introducing a new category, it's very easy to make it for it to look like an add-on to the stand, almost like an afterthought. So we were very keen that it sort of blended and it looked as an integral part of the stand really. And then obviously you've got the metrics then. The performance metrics for us were to scan a given number of installers, which we can then build into our marketing activities later on, and inquiries from merchants. We tend to stock products through a merchant and then drive demand through from the installers. And both of those metrics were absolutely smashed in terms of results versus target.
Are you able to give an insight into those metrics? What was the target and what did you achieve by the end of the show?
If you look at installers, what we tend to do, this is plumbing and heating engineers largely. The number that we scanned in last year, we had a target of that plus 30%, so a third extra. We ended up doing, it was nearly 3 times the volume.
Really?
So you can see it's almost 10 times what we were expecting in terms of engagement really. The merchants, it was really successful. We've taken a number of leads. We've got quite a slick follow-up process, as you can probably imagine.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people do a show and then they walk off and
they do.
I think it's all over, but that's the start of the process. But we've already converted one of those merchants into a new customer and they've got a high number of branches. Brilliant. So if they can start to take Instantor products into stock, you can start to see that the event was well worth it from a sort of metrics point of view really.
Absolutely, which is what we do it for. The product launch, 100 years to celebrate, and a new engagement tool on the stand. How did the team help you incorporate everything?
So in our industry, confidence is a major factor really. So merchants won't stock products that they haven't got any confidence or faith in, because any comeback's going to largely come back to them. And in installers, they definitely won't fit products fit products where they feel comfortable with. Because again, if I come to your house and fit a product and it fails, you're not going to blame the brand, you blame the fitter. Obviously, it's fitted incorrectly.
Yeah.
And then, more importantly, I've got to then go back to your house and refit or remedy the situation. I'm not getting paid for that. So, brand and trust is essential. So, when we were launching underfloor heating, which is it's an extension of our product range, we're very well established. We're market leaders in press technologies and fittings and pipe. Those are included in underfloor heating, along with other products, but we're new in the underfloor heating arena. So the one thing we said to Jay when we put the brief together was the underfloor heating has got credibility's got to come off the back of the established Instantor brand. You've got Instantor, which is the market leader. The other thing is we're 100 years old.
Yep.
And what Jay did really well was, if I'm looking at underfloor heating, I can also see the graphics, 100 years of expertise in the industry, market leaders. So it adds a lot of reassuring factors and credibility to that new offering. The fact that, we are the experts in what we do, really. And I think he did that really well. He did the graphics last year, obviously. But he combined that really well, I think. And then there was the 100 years. The 100 years was a particular challenge. It's a really big deal for Instantor as a business, and it really is something to celebrate. But in the marketplace, you have to translate that to what it actually means now. Because plumbers and merchants, we've been around 100 years, that's a reassuring, but what does that mean now? So there was a nice nod to the 100 years throughout the stand without it overtaking the core messages, really. And I think he achieved that sort of balance perfectly, really. So,
are there any other things that Nimlok did to help integrate the objectives well into the design of the stand?
Yeah, there was an obvious one, really. So the stand architecture for last year was very much high 4 metre high pillars. So you've got a big sort of branded area, and you've got that impact. And then in front of that, we tend to have a hands-on sort of demo unit. So our approach at the InstallerShow is very much, we can tell installers about products, but if we give them one in the hand and say, look how easy that is to fit, that goes an awful long way.
A lot more impactful.
So the underfloor heating was the other end of the stand for our biggest category, but we still followed that approach through with these 4 metre high pillars. So from a structure point of view, it looked a continuation. The graphics, we've got a particular style that Jay introduced last year. Again, that was followed through really to the underfloor heating. So it all followed a consistent style and house style and approach. And then what we did, the challenge with underfloor heating is it's designed for a floor, a big area. When you're trying to demonstrate it in a small area, like a metre square, it's not as easy as it sounds. So I came down with our product manager James twice, and we worked in the factory for a couple of days, mounting things up. But what you did, you just made it very easy for us to do that, really. So we had the pre-assembled boards. There was always a fitter on standby during the day to help us, because there's always things that you haven't thought about which could, you have to improvise a little bit. And that worked really well. I mean, that was probably the most popular part of the stand. To be fair, anything new attracts people, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
But it worked really well. We got a number of serious inquiries out of that, which we're actively following up now.
Which is great.
So I don't think we could have executed that launch of that new category any better at the show.
Did you feel like the stand had a journey, and were visitors following it during the event?
Yes. If you look at the opposite end, that's where our key category is, or was. On the outside of each of these pillars facing out into the aisles, we had a product board showing pipe work and fittings in a in-situ installation, and then a demo unit where you can get hands-on and look at it. The inside of those panels was more about the Instantor story, really. So
you can entice them in with what's happening on the outside.
We've worked very hard to develop a number of value-adding benefits over and above product. The product and the quality and the reliability is almost a given, really. So the messages and the story and the user journey on the inside, once they say taken part in a demo, was all about compliance with the latest regulations, environmentally. So we're an environmentally responsible manufacturer. We're certified. Everything's tested, to the highest industry standards. And it was that journey inside that we wanted to supplement
what they were seeing outside. They get more of the informative information and important information, I guess, for the next steps that they'd need to know to make more informed decisions. So.
And again, that worked really well, because there was a couple of comments that the stand inside was a little open. But from last year, we deliberately wanted the stand to be open and easily accessible from all sides. So it's almost like a cross, isn't it, our stand, if you look at it?
Absolutely.
And you've got five entrances and 5 exits, and it's very easy to access the stand from that point of view.
What was it like for the team on the stand? With the stand being bigger, were there any worries with staff on the stand?
It worked really well. We could have done with probably 2 more people, if we're honest, because it was busy. But our team are all very hands-on anyway, so they do regular presentations to merchants and installers during trade days. There's nothing worse than when you walk past the stand and there's 18 members of staff and they're just stood in a line waiting for somebody to come on, really. So we try and make it as open as we can and inviting as we can. And they tend to be, it's one person on each demo area, which is less daunting as well than walking up and there's six people waiting. But no, I think it worked really well. I think it was the perfect balance between educating installers about our latest products, but letting them have a bit of fun at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at this from the very beginning, what made you look at having on-stand activations and not just products?
It was when we first met you for the year before, really, because other stand builders I've sort of worked with, you give them a brief and all they do is they'll just focus on that stand. The big thing that really impressed us when we first met you was you look at the bigger picture, really. So attending an event's really expensive. It takes a lot of time and effort to do the planning and get the product samples and everything in place. It was James, your MD, actually showed us some of the engagement pieces that you've got in your showroom downstairs, and we drove off and we were just blown away at that point. So last year we had a big screen with a racing game. That worked really well. You had to sort of log in on your phone, and that was the control.
You had Nimlok Connect, which was...
That's it, This year we took a slightly different stance, because the older generation of plumbers probably aren't as au fait with technology. The number one criteria, we wanted to engage with the products in some way. So we decided on this ring toss game, you've got 5 press tools. Each of them have got a different points total, and you have to, I think it was everybody that scored 100 or more got a prize. And one of those installers has subsequently won a press tool now, which is a major incentive for an installer. But with that, it was Nimlok's attention to detail again. So the ring wasn't just a ring. You could have done that. You made it so it was the nut out of our logo. And then on the build-up, you'd even sourced. There's 2 hooks on the side of the game where you put the rings, and even the body of that hook was a nut. So there's a lot of attention to detail, which probably a lot of people might overlook, but it just makes a big difference to the overall impact. The game this year was fantastic. We had probably 7 or 8 people queuing up all the time to play it. And you see, the brief that we gave you was, installers go to the InstallerShow. It's the flagship event. They want to get round a couple of 100 stands probably. It's got to be quick. If it looks complicated or it's going to take 6 minutes to set up, they're off. So it was literally, you queued up, you had to go, we entered your details, scan your badge, and that was it. It was 30 seconds and it was all done, really. And it worked really well. And you've got the integration of their products as well, the press tools.
Yeah, the press fit tools were there.
Perfect. So,
And it linked in with 100 years as well, the school. being 100. It was just a small touch, small nod to the 100 years, which was nice.
Capturing data was also a vital part of the activation. How does the data help you with future campaigns?
There's a few things. We produce templates for the social media before, and then we do an on-stand interview with key members of the team. Because we've got the template, somebody goes off for half an hour and edits them, and within an hour of the show opening, we're posting out on social media. The lead capture though, everybody that comes on the stand is sent an email the same day to say thank you. The show ended on the Thursday. By the following Thursday, we downloaded all the leads, deduped everything and processed it. And we had a sales meeting, and those were all given to the sales team to follow up. And then 4 weeks after that meeting, we have a follow-up meeting again to see the progress in following those leads up. We make sure everyone is followed up really, which is essential. But that works. That's quite a slick little process we've put in place now for certainly Instantor to operate for the shows.
What was it like before having an activation on stand that is able to collect data and engage the audience as well?
We've always had the system in place. The difference was we would walk around previously and just scan people's badges. Which is a little bit, I think it can put people off a little bit. If they've already engaged and played the game and entered the competition and everything else, they're far more likely then to engage with you and give you 10 minutes of their time to take around the stand.
Absolutely, and you've had a little bit of a laugh and a joke with them most of the time, which I find when we exhibit breaks down the barriers to remind them that you are just a human at the end of the day, and you are just going to have a conversation with them. And it makes the process slightly easier.
It does, because by that time through the game, they've already subconsciously realised that we're not out to actively sell them anything. So like you said, it breaks the ice, and then you can then take them around the stand in a more relaxed, they're more open-minded, I think.
What was some of the feedback received on the Instantor stand so far from both visitors and staff?
We brought some of the directors over for last year, if you remember.
Yes.
I take it as a massive vote of confidence in my team and Nimlok that they didn't feel the need to come over this year. The feedback was excellent again, really.
Which is great.
The scale, I mean, you said to me before the show, the scale of the stand, when you see it in reality, is going to be really impressive. And it was. The floor space was 50% bigger than last year.
Yeah, it was huge, wasn't it?
But the execution and the messaging and the underfloor heating, everybody was really sort of blown away by that, I think, and the way we delivered that stand. But the acid test is installers and merchants, I think, and I've told you the sort of metrics in that. I think that speaks for itself. If it wasn't that good and it wasn't engaging, we wouldn't have generated that sort of response.
What were your thoughts when you first saw this year's stand on the show floor?
It's a funny one, because the previous 2 years we've done InstallerShow, we were in the hall above, hall 4. Hall 5 is really, for us, it's right in our target market. It's hands-on heating and plumbing engineers, really. So we used to walk around, and I suppose the one concern was we'd done all the designs, we'd seen it built up in the factory here. But then when you go into a massive hall and you're next to really big stands, were we going to look small time? And we didn't. We more than held our own, I think. That middle aisle, which is adjacent to the main entrance of Hall 5, you've got some really, sort of stellar plumbing brands there. We're market leaders, but we didn't look out of place in that audience, and I think that's probably the biggest accolade we can give, to be fair. We looked at home in that environment.
There were roughly 7 people from Nimlok involved in this project, plus the build team and the marketing team. How did you find it working with the entire team?
Again, it's a funny one, because you're more on the initial contact, really. Now, it could be very easy for Nimlok, once the contract's signed, to then that level of personal service drops off.
Absolutely.
It doesn't. You worked through it with us all the way through anyway. Sam project managed last year and this year. And then obviously Jay on the graphics and everything else. But from an external perspective, you don't come across as independent teams. You come across that you're all working together. So if I told you something or Sam something, I've then got to repeat it 6 times.
Yeah.
And it's just, you probably take it for granted, but it's very smooth the way you work as a team. When you've been the other side and you've experienced relationships which aren't like that, it just works, and it's just very refreshing, I think.
It's really nice that you pick up on that, because one of the main things for Nimlok is that we're all under one roof.
How did you find the team's expertise from account management, graphics, project management, build team, and so on?
Really good. I mean, as a model, as a team, we tend to do what we can in-house, really. So we do a lot of the web development and the digital development and the brochures and things like that in-house. And then we rely on external suppliers who have got specialist expertise, really. And that's when, I mean, we didn't try and dictate to you. We gave you the problem and then almost
We tried to
come back and solve it for us, really. But no, it worked well. So the graphics worked perfectly, same as they did last year. I remember when we spoke to Jay to start with, because Instantor's already got quite a defined brand identity in place. So it's actually quite difficult then to just tweak it and take it to the next level. But he did that. He just put a fresh approach to it.
Yeah.
Sam's probably the best project manager I've worked with. I've been in marketing 40 years. He's excellent, because he's got no qualms about coming back and saying, I need an answer by 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Fine.
Absolutely.
We'll give it you 4 o'clock on Tuesday, because it's unfair as a client to put pressure on a stand builder if you're not going to meet the deadlines both ways. So no, it's just things like you've got all the equipment and the CNC and the CAD and everything downstairs. So when we want things making like the game, you've got everything at hand that you can make it. And so a press tool with the battery at the bottom is actually quite a difficult product to stand up. So these were stood up when you throw the rings over.
As we found out during our research and development on the press tool.
So we got one down to Sam, and then what you've produced like a CAD model of a base that the press tool slots into. So you wouldn't get that with a lot of stand builders. It would be stood on a table almost, and they're wobbling about, and it doesn't work. It's just that attention to detail, and you almost think of every eventuality, and you've almost solved it before it crops up. So that worked really well.
In the feedback given during the show, you mentioned Nimlok's execution stood out. Can you expand on that and tell us more about it?
Yeah, so when you're on the stand, obviously the finish and the execution is a lot more relevant at that moment in time. During the build-up, I just stood and watched a couple of the other stands that were doing it maybe in a different way, where they were cutting wood and painting on site, which we don't get with Nimlok. So the finish is, the way we do the graphics is seamless. The overhead banner, we've done a couple of iterations the last 2 years. Last year was a major step forward, but we only really printed on the outside. So this year, when we had the sort of creative brief with Jay, we decided to print both sides. What that did, it's a small point, but it's actually quite powerful, because if you're stood at the underfloor heating section and you've got new Instantor underfloor heating as a brand, but the reveal message on the inside of the facing panel is 100 years expertise and leaders in plumbing technology, that's quite a powerful supporting proposition, really. So it was just that execution, and as I said before, the underfloor heating is a really difficult thing to display on a small area, but it just worked. And because we were able to present 6 systems next to each other. One, it gets the message over that we've got a complete range, but then you can also explain the differences and what applications each system is used in, which was useful.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, we've all been in exhibition halls, haven't we? Where we've seen the carnage that can take place, and I think realistically the finish that you felt, that you saw on the stand was more I guess, fit to purpose for the Instantor brand as well.
Yes, 100%.
Clean, and yeah, it just lent itself well to what you wanted to showcase, which was good.
Do you think the objectives set out at the beginning of the event have been achieved?
Yeah, I'd say more than achieved it really. So the underfloor heating was the big one for us. We also launched an OEM solution. We in addition to our own products, we provide and engineer products for OEM manufacturers. That was a brand new launch really, but the way we positioned that was next to the meeting pod, and it just worked really well. We always try and pre-arrange editor interviews with some of our key titles on the stand, which we did again this year. I think we had 8 pre-arranged interviews organised, but you need somewhere to actually sit and talk to editors. And the meeting pod, it was perfect because it's pretty much soundproof. It's still open, you're not locked in a little room, but it's like a soundproof area. So you can have a sensible conversation, the editors, with our MD, for example, talking about, you know, the strategy and the future plans for the business. But it's not in the open where everybody else is. It's part of the stand, but you've got a nice little area. So yeah, it just worked. And even the 100-year counter, which you made a bespoke acrylic top to go on there. If you're saying 100 years, it's quite nice to see some old original products from 1926 and some packaging and adverts and brochures. And we had those under the acrylic top, again, which worked really well. So, and then every afternoon we served Guinness on that area of the stand, so people were able to have a pint of Guinness and also look through some of our archives.
In the branded glasses as well.
It just worked really well because it creates that quite a nice positive brand perception when somebody leaves the stand then.
And I think that was one of my favourite parts of the stand. It's so interesting seeing that history there in front of you.
Looking back at the last 2 shows, is there anything you do differently as part of developing and improving the next stand?
No, I think there's always things, if you're being ultra picky, there's always things that you can do better. I think the graphics, we introduced this sort of tagline on each of the graphics this time, which worked well. Our approach has always been, you've got a very short window to engage people on the stand, and you see stands with paragraphs of text, people aren't going to read it.
Haven't got the time?
Haven't got the time. You've got probably 60 seconds to capture somebody's attention. The graphics were great, honestly. The game was really good. I think I'd go more on the hands-on game rather than the digital game, because that worked really well for us. I'm not saying, you know, that you've probably got other clients where the digital side is even better.
Now that we have worked together for the past 2 years, how is your relationship working with Nimlok and the wider team?
I'd like to think we've got a really strong working relationship, really. I don't see you as external. I see you, Sam and Jay, as part of our team, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of your big strengths of Nimlok is this sort of blended approach, because we've done the InstallerShow twice, but you did 2 smaller stands at a merchant event for us, which were, I think, 4 meters by 2 each. So it's not just you've got a solution for the big stands, you've got a solution for the smaller stands, which a lot of events you don't necessarily as a client have the budget to do that, but you can still provide a very credible solution for that. But I think overall, no, I think it's been excellent. There's always concerns when you start using somebody new, but
absolutely,
I think we've just got to a point now after a couple of years working together where it's you understand us and we understand you, and we just know how to get the best out of each other.
That's what I was going to say.
If another marketing team was looking for a stand builder, would you recommend Nimlok, and why?
This is going to sound like I'm on commission. I'm not being paid to say this. It's you just do everything fantastically well, I think. The design's there, you've got the creative expertise, you've got the advice, you do stands all the time. You know, you've solved most problems that are likely to crop up. The process from start to finish it's proven, but it just slots into place and works. The build up 2 weeks before, as I've said, is I've never had that before. That's just really reassuring. You can iron out any last minute niggles before you get on site. You've got the latest technology, you've got the interaction with the games. Last year we bought the analytics service, so you put sensors around the stand and then you can report on foot flow and engagement and how long people have stayed. That was invaluable in shaping this year's stand actually, because you can see the areas that were busy and the areas which weren't. So
you can take them off and you can replace them with...
That's really useful. You know, we came down for the pre-build. We got a fully working game at that point with the digital, the screen and the leaderboard. Yeah, it just works, and I think as a business, you've really elevated our event program. You know, we've had some really glowing comments back. The acid test is always in the response, isn't it? And
absolutely.
Our response rates have gone like that, so you can't probably say any more than that. It's been excellent, you know, and if we were doing a stand again in the future, I would have, well, I'll give you an example. Somebody came on the stand, one of the senior members of the team, and they said we'd be stupid to even consider using anybody else in future. They were that, you know, it's just an obvious. I think you'd have to go a very long way to find anybody that comes close, really.
It's what we do the job for, right?
Yeah.
We do it not only because we enjoy the world of exhibitions, but because we want to see our clients, especially our main contacts, happy at the end of an event. And obviously for us, it was a 6-month process, probably longer, 6 to 10-month process of getting that stand to where it needed to be. So hearing feedback like that after the event it's brilliant. It's what we do it for. And I think similarly to Instantor, Nimlok, it kind of comes from being there, doing it for so many years and experiencing live events and what can go wrong, how to fix that.
Well, it's genuine feedback. It's not, you know, we're not making that up. We do feel that you've added considerable value since we've been working with you. So, yeah, and look, long may that continue, I think. So
that's everything from me. But thank you.
Okay, no, thanks again.
That's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, long may it continue.
Okay, thanks a lot.